Hi, my name is Dean Werk. I own and operate a company called Great River Fishing Adventures out here in Chilliwack, British Columbia on the Fraser River. We're out here sampling some fish today, some white sturgeon, a remarkable fish that has been around for 170 million years and is a true living dinosaur. I've been lucky enough to make this job as my profession, and I have been fishing sturgeon for almost 30 years now, and we have been taking part in a mark recapture program for the last 19 years, trying to have a recovery of the white sturgeon. This population of these fish in the late 1800s was almost brought to the state of extinction when there was, in some of the peak years, 1896, 1897, when there was almost 100 million tons of sturgeon removed from the Fraser River on a commercial fishery. Today, the fishery is actually alive and well, and we're trying to recover it so that we can get somewhere close to the historic levels of what it was back in those days. In 1994, the federal government and provincial government put a stop to harvest fishery on the Fraser River. So we now have a truly catch and release fishery. Since 1995, when the ministry put into play a program to sample these fish. We were looking for, at that time, a female that was going to spawn in that cycle year, and really just to find out a little bit more about what's going on out here. I mean, these fish are not visual, we can't see them, so what has happened is this fishery has evolved, mainly as a sport fishery. Almost 84% of all the data that has been collected has been from fishing guides and some recreational anglers. But what we've done is we've actually captured and tagged over 54,000 white sturgeon in less than 19 years. We have actually scanned to our boats in excess of 90,000 fish. And as of recently, the last 2 years, 2012 and 2013, we're actually seeing a slight increase in the population as opposed to the years gone by. One of the coolest things about this fishery is this could be done by any age group. This can be done by women, by children. We get a lot of fun in taking school kids out and youth development programs through different organizations and having them come out and enjoy this fishery. Whether you're 6 years old, 15 years old, 50 years old, or 90 years old, we've had all those people out here enjoying this fishery. And it's been remarkable over the years. What we've seen is people that are traveling from all over the world to take part in this fishery here. And really the reaches are, on the most part, all the way through BC, but the catch and release fishery that we're using here is, basically about 200 kilometers of river from the mouth of the ocean all the way up past Yale, British Columbia. But the economic driver is the thing that is amazing. The amount of people. I think on average, when you look at what this fishery brings, is probably close to $50 to $100 million of economic spin-offs just alone in the sturgeon fishery of the Fraser River. And 15, 18 years ago, you were probably at a fishery that was about $5 or $8 million a year. So the popularity of this fish, being that it is a dinosaur and lives for nearly 200 years of age, really brings a lot of people out who are super interested to not only to touch the fish, to sample the fish, but to be a part of this amazing recovery. Well, Shannon, congratulations, your first Fraser River white sturgeon.
Thank you.
To the boat. So now we got to get underway, and we want to do part of the mark recapture program, which is the scanning, the measuring, tagging if the fish needs it. And we want to be able to, get the fish into the cradle, get them processed. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of fresh water running. I've got a hose that runs in there, and we're just going to get to going on tagging and getting the scanning done. So you just hold that. I've got that to the on position. Okay, and what you want to do is the tags are right in by the skull here. So you hold down the read button. Okay, and it looks like you may have a virgin. Now, there's a possibility that there's a tag on the other side that somebody has potentially put in the wrong spot. So let's just check in here behind the skull. What we're going to do is we're also going to check, Shannon, because back in 1995 to 98, there was a 3-year program by the provincial government, sponsored by the provincial government. So what we did is we actually tagged fish in the dorsal fin area So we just need to double check and make sure it's not part of that program, because that's some very valuable information. So no, it isn't. No ID found. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take a tag from my bottle here. It's just in some rubbing alcohol. And this is a pit tag. Okay? You want to hold that for a second. There you go. And what we're going to do is we're going to scan that. Okay, and that has its own unique number, right? And that will now be the tag number for this fish from here on in. So we're just going to record that. Okay, so it's fish number 1, river kilometer. We're at kilometer 79 on the Fraser River. That means we're 79 kilometers up from the ocean. Was the sturgeon scanned? Yes, Shannon, you scanned that. Okay. Now what we want to do is write that down under tags applied. As you can see there, it says tags applied. Yep. So that will be recorded and part of the mark recapture program from the Fraser River Sturgeon Conservation Society. Okay, so we're going to put that into the needle. Okay, nice needle. Goes in, it slides in there. Okay. Slides inside there. And then where that goes is that's now going to go right in below the skull. So if you just want to feel this with your hand, Shannon, and feel, this is hard like a rock in here, okay?
It is.
I'm just going to turn on so we get a little bit more fresh water in there. The fish is a little bit more comfortable. So it's hard like a rock, and then we get into the meat part. Feel that, how it falls off of the skull and goes into the meat.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so where we want to go is we want to go just underneath the skin, a thumb width back from the skull on the left side, looking down as the fish swims in the water. Okay, so not the right side, but the left side looking down on the fish. We come a thumb width back. Do you want to try this yourself, or would you like? Okay. So we just come in like this. We come in, we poke underneath the skin like that. We come in. Tagged. So we just want to check now if you could take that, turn that back on, and hold the read button down just to assure that our tag is operative. What are your 4 digits at the end, or 3 or 4 digits at the end?
6E2D.
Perfect. So that fish now, for the next possible 100 years or more, depending on where we're going to go with our program, you know, this fish now is going to be, every time it's recaptured by someone who has a scanner in their boat, they will be able to get that information. It will then become a recapture. We'll be able to figure out where it is migrated from and to, because we've recorded where we've captured this fish, how big it has grown over a number of years. So there's a lot of tracking information that comes from us putting that tag in there. And again, the ultimate goal is to try to increase the, to find out whether the population of the Fraser River white sturgeon is stable, increasing, decreasing. And at this time, with over 54,000 white sturgeon already with tags in it, over a period of 19 years, we've got an awful lot of data.